Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, FAA and City of Santa Monica defend consent decree. FAA certifies Boeing 777X folding wingtip design. And Aero-News' AirVenture #Osh18Cool. Hello, I'm Laura Hudson. It's May 23rd, and this is Airborne Unlimited. Last week, representatives from the City of Santa Monica and the FAA sat before a judge in the D.C. Circuit Court, jointly defending their consent decree that led to the shortening of the runway at KSMO and will eventually lead to its closure. The two were before the court to respond to a petition to review filed by aviation interest groups in February 2017, asking the court to invalidate the settlement agreement between the FAA and the city. The agreement gave the city the authority to shorten the runway, which it did last December. The pace with which the settlement agreement was signed and ratified by a judge in California was called unusual by an attorney familiar with federal law. The question that the D.C. Circuit Court has been asked to answer is whether the FAA has the authority to release the city from its AIP grant assurances and deed obligations to operate the airport in perpetuity. It will also determine if the agency acted legally in making the agreement with the city, with no period for public comments and no documentation of its decision-making process. The Justice Department attorney speaking for the FAA told the judges that the agreement would have no force were it not entered as a consent decree. A ruling is expected later this year. After the break, second ERAU plane found to have critical metal fatigue.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Based on the popular Sling 2 LSA, the Sling 4 was designed to be the most practical and desirable lightweight four-place experimental aircraft on the market. Find out more about this 115 horsepower turbocharged airplane at airplanefactory.com.
Welcome back. If you have a story suggestion for Airborne Unlimited, Aero-TV, Airborne Unmanned, the AMA Drone Report, our website or podcast, just email to news-by@aero-news.net. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. The NTSB has issued an investigative update on its investigation of the April 4, 2018 crash of a Piper PA-28R-201 near Daytona Beach, Florida. 2 people suffered fatal injuries following an in-flight separation of the airplane's left wing shortly after takeoff. NTSB Structures Group inspected another Piper PA-28R-201 April 18th and 19th. They found a similar number of total airframe hours and cycles used exclusively for flight training. That inspection revealed a crack indication at the left lower outboard forward wing spar attachment bolt hole. The Memphis Shelby County Airport Authority Board of Commissioners has voted to approve the MSCAA budget for fiscal year 2019, which includes significant reductions in some airport fees. This $117.9 million operations and maintenance budget sets the fees and charges that the airlines pay to the Airport Authority and establishes spending authority for the MSCAA staff. Astronauts soon will have new experiments to conduct related to emergency navigation, DNA sequencing, and ultra-cold atom research when the research arrives at the International Space Station following the 4:44 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time Monday launch of an Orbital ATK Cygnus spacecraft. Cygnus lifted off on an Antares 230 rocket from NASA's Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia, carrying about 7,400 pounds of research equipment, cargo, and supplies. that will support dozens of more than 250 investigations underway on the space station. Flexjet has announced substantial salary increases for Red Label pilots, making them the highest paid in the industry. Red Label pilots' total compensation is greater than that of their competitors by 25% or more. Red Label by Flexjet is the carrier's premium offering, which has proven to be a leading differentiator among both owners and pilots. Compensation of these highly trained and experienced pilots is so important to Flexjet that the company fought for its ability to increase salaries unilaterally in the Red Label program in recent union contract negotiations. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. The FAA has certified Boeing's decision for folding wingtips on the 777X airliner that will allow the aircraft to operate at existing airport gates. The FAA said that the Boeing Model 777-8 and 777-9 airplanes will incorporate CFRP wings with folding wingtips. Boeing will incorporate the on-ground wingtip fold capability to reduce the wingspan from 235 to 212 feet. This wing folding feature will be operable on the ground only. Boeing has determined that a catastrophic event could occur if the Model 777-8 and 777-9 airplane wingtips are not properly positioned and secured for takeoff and during flight. In service, numerous takeoff operations with improper airplane configurations have occurred due to failures of the takeoff warning systems or inadvertent crew actions. For these special conditions, a parallel is drawn between taking off with gust locks engaged and taking off with wingtips folded, as either conditions could result in a catastrophic event. Consequently, the FAA has determined that the level of safety in protecting a misconfigured airplane from takeoff with wingtips folded should be the same as taking off with gust locks engaged. After these messages, Aero-News AirVenture update, hashtag Osh18Cool.
In collaboration with NASC, introducing Sonex Aerospace, bringing you the Taros Group 4 UAS, the redesigned Tiger Shark Block 4, and the Subsonics Twinjet UAS, all derived from flight-proven manned systems, not concepts, real aircraft. More at sonexaerospace.com.
Welcome back. Stuff that is new is cool, we get it. That's why we're bringing our AirVenture Innovation Preview webcast to you on Saturday evening, July 21st, to introduce the things that are new and unique at EAA AirVenture 2018. However, there's a lot other than cool stuff that has little to do with being new stuff, but still deserves the designation of cool. This is where we need you. We are reinitiating our Osh18Cool program that allows you to tweet about your opinion of what is so cool. No matter what it is, if it's cool to you, it's cool to us. Hashtag Osh18Cool allows anyone at Oshkosh to partner with us by tweeting something you see or hear or feel that you think is really cool. Including a picture or video with your tweet is even better. If tweeting isn't your thing, stop by our press office right next to the EAA AirVenture Press Center. Just walk in and say, I have something cool to report. As our staffers walk the grounds, we'll be wearing our blue A&N logoed shirts or caps, which should make us all too easy to spot. Please let us know if you see something that is really cool, and we'll do the rest. Well, that's our program for today. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, alternating with Airborne Unmanned on Tuesday and the AMA Drone Report each Thursday. Additional breaking news bulletins may be posted for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. We'll see you tomorrow.